In this video, I'm going to give you some general guidelines on how to figure out your pricing. And these are one of those things you're going to want to think about very early on because it has a big effect on your business. Just for example, getting your price right or wrong can have large effects on obviously how much money you're making, but also on your profitability, which will affect, whether or not you're willing to invest more in hiring. So it's going to affect your speed of scale. It's going to affect your close rates. It's even going to affect your TAM. So it's one of those things that you really want to have a lot of thought process behind very early on in the beginning. So there's really two important things to think about when you're trying to figure out your pricing. It's how you charge and what you charge, right? So for how you charge, as a general rule of thumb, you're going to want to have some sort of structure where you can maximize revenues. Every industry is going to be a little bit different. Every company is going to be a little bit different. But as a general rule of thumb, look at this first picture. This first picture on the left, it shows you if you just charge the same price for the same thing, you would capture this little blue square of revenue, right? But for example, if you're able to adjust your pricing in a certain way, maybe you charge a little bit more for someone that uses it more, you charge a little bit less for someone that uses it less, then you're able to capture more of the market, right? So that area of blue underneath that pricing curve is where you want to maximize, right? So a lot of companies are able to do things like they charge per seat, or they pay per usage, or they bundle certain features at a certain price point, and then if you want to pay more, you can unlock more features. So what you want to do is you really want to think about your product and your business and what is valuable to your customers, and you want to price based on the value you provide. So a real world example of someone doing this is like Michelin, the tire company, right? They actually charge for their tires by miles driven, right? I haven't put a lot of thought into this, but I'm just assuming if you're a trucking company and you're smaller, then you're paying by miles driven, then there's not a lot of upfront costs for you. Maybe if you're a larger company and you drive a lot of miles, they're able to maximize the revenue and probably provide better service, making sure that company has the best tires on their trucks at all times to maximize safety or something like that. So just if you think about your business a little bit more carefully, there's probably certain ways you can charge for certain things and then charge more for certain things that people use more. So as long as you understand these two charts here and you're trying to maximize the area of which you can gather revenue, then I think you'll be okay. So in terms of what you charge, I like to be very realistic at this point because you probably don't have a huge team. Figuring out pricing probably isn't anyone's full-time job. And at this point, really, it's a little bit more of a art than it is a science. So if you follow my advice on the pre-selling, which was where you want to get people to agree to buy your product before you even developed it, you would have already surveyed a large number of potential customers and asked them the following questions about pricing. You would have asked them, hey, what's the cheap price for this? Hey, what's the expensive price for this? Hey, what's the price that's so expensive that's going to prevent you from buying this, right? So you should already have some real world baselines. And now that you're actually selling the product, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to call these people and ask them how much they're willing to pay for something when you're trying to get them to buy it, right? So at this point, what I think you should be doing is you should just be increasing your price every time you talk to someone new, right? So let's say, for example, one customer agreed to pay you $250 a month for it, right? So now that you've gotten that data point, you can now start charging everyone else you talk to $300 a month, and then $350, then $400, $450, and so on and so forth, right? So the point is you don't increase your prices on existing customers that have already agreed to pay you at that price point, but you're only increasing pricing on the new potential customer that you're about to sell. And at some point, you're going to get to a level where they're going to say, hey, no. And I think the goal should be to get to around 30% close rate on your demos at this price point. Once you reach that, then you can stop increasing the price point, and you probably don't want to increase your price until you improve the product that offers more value. So I think realistically, this is a super easy way to go about it. You don't need to get super scientific here. Honestly, at this point in your business, you're just trying to get a sense of everything that's going on, but it is very important for you to be thinking about pricing, right? So by doing this, what you're doing a very live experiment on how to capture that revenue. And what you really need to do is take very good notes on everything you're offering to people, and then you can come back and just see how things are going, see how the numbers are converting, and then figure out if you need to raise or lower your price. Hope this helps. Talk to you next video.
It's free to subscribe.